Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Antenna Addict. Today we're going to show you how to build a lot of people call it ugly balun or an air wound choke. So basically what you need to do is get you a piece of coaxial cable that'll coil up about like this, and first thing you need to do is test it to make sure that it's continuous. So I've got a VOM set to test continuity. And I don't know if you'll hear it or not, but there'll be a beep. Yep, so the center is good. There's no short to the outside, to the shield. And then I test the shield as well. Yep, good beep there. I test it against the other end, the center pin. So basically what you're going to do, that's it for that. We'll test this again after we're done building this thing. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to take about a 4-inch piece of, I think this is 3-inch, let's measure it, 3-inch, actually, yeah, 3.5 inch PVC pipe. That's the outside diameter, and you're going to build a coil around it like this, okay, and it's going to be wrapped neatly and secured in place. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap that, and then I'll be back. So once you have it wrapped, it's going to look kind of like that. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to drill a hole through the PVC here on both sides of this piece of coax and put a zip tie through there to secure that. I used to, file a notch in here and send it down through there that way, and you really don't need to do that. This is complicated enough. Try and keep it simple, right? So you need a couple of tag ends. One end goes to the antenna, and the other end goes to the other side of your feed line. And you need a bullet on here, a female to female SO239, and I'll show you one of those in a minute, so that you can connect your long piece of coax going to your radio goes to this end. Okay, so if you put this end of the antenna, and it's either or. I mean, you could put either end of the antenna. It's whatever's most convenient for you. This is RG8X, which I like for making these, but you can build it out of bigger stuff. You can build it out of RG213, RG8X, whatever, the full-size coax. You can build it out of that. You just can't put it onto really small PVC pipes. Like I have one over here. Let me go grab these other two and show you kind of a finished product here. So there's the one we're building, and here's a couple that I've already finished. This one here is made out of RG213, I think. It's either RG213 or RG8. I don't remember which, and I can't see the letters very clearly. Anyway, so you have a female to female end on one end. That's the end that goes to your radio, and this is the end that plugs into the antenna. If you're using a vertical or a dipole or whatever, just be aware that this one here is going to weigh a lot more because the cable is pretty big. You'll also notice that's about a 6-inch piece. Same diameter, but you can work with that. So here's one made out of RG58 cable. Definitely don't want to put more than about 100 watts through this thing. Less if it's digital. Because you'll start melting things. But the way I like to explain it to people why these work is when you have one end going to the radio and you're through the cable, so you got a SO239 to SO239 like this one over here. On this end, this goes to the radio, and then you got this plugged into the antenna. The way I explain this to people is any RF backfeed or interference or RF coming back on the shield goes into this, and it just gets so confused. It's like, screw it, I'll go back to the antenna, because that's the path of least resistance, is to go backwards. So if your SWR is tuned nicely and you want to keep common mode current, which is what it's called, I was stumbling for that pair of words. If you want to keep common mode current out of your shack or out of your portable operation, this is what you need, and they're really easy to make. And I'm going to drill the holes in this one and kind of show you what it ends up looking like. This is 10 turns of RG8X. This is 10 turns, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, the other one is, yeah, these count as, this is a half a turn each. So that's 10 turns. I don't know how many this is, probably about 10 or 11. You know, one way or the other, 10 or 11, it's fine, or even 9. The idea is you wrap it on a coil or a form, and it basically keeps the common mode current from coming back into your shack or your radio when you're operating portable. I tend to use these on anything that is below 50 megahertz. Okay, so for HF they work really good. Anyway, I'm going to drill some holes in this one and then I'll be back. Okay, so the holes are drilled. And you can see it's not perfect. I mean, one side here is a little wider than the other side, but you know, who cares? It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm kind of a perfectionist because I was a medic for 28 years in the Air Force, so I tend to be a little bit compulsive. But at any rate, you take your zip tie, put it up through the first hole and then back down, and you see how it's going to get tied down. And then you do the same with the other side. The other side looks just the same. I'm trying to keep this on camera here, so that you're pulling the zip tie towards you like that, and that's what locks it down onto the form. And when I come back, I'll show you how we trim that to make that a little bit nicer. So, well, maybe I can do it by doing this. Let's see if this works. Yeah, we might get it done. Okay, so we're going to pull onto this one until it's all the way down into the hole. So you may have to push it up just a little bit like that, and then pull the other piece down. Here it's zipping in there, and then pull on that part with every bit of your strength, because you want to lock that piece of coax down. You don't want to damage the coax, but if you've got this flat, you'll be fine. So there's the tag end of that, and then go around in a circle and just make sure that it's all tight, which it is, and then pull this one out. And you're going to do the same thing with this one. So this side goes up all the way so it's flush. I hope you can see that okay. And then pull this one down. I have to do it again probably. And then you pull on that tag end until you get it all the way snug as far as it'll go. So that's not going anywhere there. And there's your common mode choke. Simple, easy. Now to cut it, I'm going to use a pair of flush cutters generously donated to me by Mr. John Quater, AF4JQ. You see how I've got that down there nice and snug? That's not going anywhere. And do the same with this one. Push it down there where it's got every bit of slack out of it. And then get your flush cutters out. Cut it off flush on both sides. Hopefully you can see this all. And then this is a little trick I like to use. Take a lighter so that you don't end up with sharp edges. Oh, of course, the lighter has decided to not work. There we go. And just melt the end of that nylon just a little bit so you don't have a sharp edge on the end of that piece. That's a little less important when they're up inside like this. Ooh, this lighter's being cranky. That's probably the last thing it's going to light. Okay, and just melt that a little bit so that there's no sharp edge on it. And then you're done. And it can be a little loose on the coil because it's not going anywhere. Again, this end goes to the antenna, this end goes to your coax to the radio with one of these adapters on it, like this, and you're off to the races. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Oh, I almost forgot one step. The last thing you want to do after you've mashed on the coil and you know, played with the coax a little bit, you want to make sure, test it, make sure you didn't short something. So we're going to test it again. This is something I do pretty religiously because The one time that you don't test this will be the time that it's shorted, and you fire up your radio, and then you will blow up your finals, particularly if it's an older radio without any type of protection circuit. So yeah, that can get expensive because sometimes those components are unobtainium, and yeah, I'd hate to see anybody blow up a radio because they didn't check something. But anyway, that's it. You can get fancy with it and wrap it up, but there you go. One air wound choke, aka Ugly Balun. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you did, and I'll try and keep this content coming. Thanks, and 7-3. See you next time.